Based on a new CDC report, it looks like the rates of obesity are dropping in the US of A. Is the rate of obesity actually dropping? Could it be that we are finally winning the battle of the bulge? And is it because of the new medications like Wegovy and Zepbound? Well, that is what we're going to find out today. Well, it is true that there is a new report from the CDC that show the rates of obesity drop from 41.9% down to 40.3% between 2021 and 2023. That's greater than a 1% drop. Now, it would seem that that's a pretty exciting result and pretty conclusive that the rates of obesity did indeed drop. However, that result is not statistically significant. Basically, we can't confidently say that there was indeed a true drop. All we can say is that the point estimate we got at that point in time seems to be lower than what was recorded previously, but our point estimate in reality could still be as high as what was there previously, or maybe even higher. And in reality, we're going to need more data, but it could be indicating a trend that is on the way. But if we go back to that graph, as you can see on the bottom line there, the rates of severe obesity actually increased. They went from 9.2% to 9.7%. Now, this is a really big problem because individuals or more individuals entering the severe obesity category, well, they suddenly become at a much greater risk of complications and comorbidities such as heart disease and diabetes. And so, while total obesity rates may have gone down, severe obesity increased, so in reality, we're not any further ahead. Now, if you're here, that means you're an intelligent individual who wants to understand the truth behind health trends and data like this. Well, I've got good news for you, because you are in the right place, and if you haven't already done so, you should probably hit that subscribe button. And be sure to turn on those notifications so you don't miss out when I put out another video that's going to help you further understand the truth behind data trends and health claims like this. So mash that button, subscribe, and thank you for the ongoing support. Now, if we were to say that the results are showing maybe a promising trend, or perhaps at least the rates of total obesity are stabilizing, is the medications like Wegovy and Zepbound the reason for that? And if you're new here, you can think of Wegovy and Zepbound kind of like the Marie Kondos of your appetite. They come in, they tidy up your cravings, they help manage your hunger, and they help you to get rid of things that maybe you thought you liked but don't actually like, but know you need to get rid of it, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, they allow someone to achieve a calorie deficit more consistently, which then allows them to lose weight. Now, the medications are effective, and they continue to get more effective as better and better agents are coming to market, so they certainly are contributing to a potential stabilization and maybe even a future decrease in obesity rates, but that's not all the picture. And that's because they're not the end-all be-all. They're a tool in our toolbox, and they need to be used in conjunction with lifestyle changes, with environmental changes, and in changes in our communities and our society as a whole to really tackle the problem of obesity. Now, the lifestyle things are the obvious things. That's going to be like going for a 10-minute walk or taking the stairs instead of the elevator, trying to reduce how much processed food you're eating, and that sort of thing. But there's going to be things beyond the medications and beyond our lifestyle that also are going to need some additional support. And that's because obesity is a complex chronic disease. It's not just about how many donuts you ate last week. It's going to be influenced by your genetic makeup, by your physiology, by your metabolism, by the environment that you grew up in, based on the layout of your city, where you live in the world, and so on and so forth. A lot of different things that are ultimately out of your control. But when we start to evaluate things at the community and society level, there we can start making some tweaks and changes that'll really start helping us to move that needle forward in conjunction with all of the individual factors and the medications. So to give you a little bit of perspective around things like your environment, have you ever noticed that it's much easier to find a drive-through burger than a fresh salad? What about how you get to work? Are you able to walk to work, or do you have to drive? Maybe you can take public transit if it is an effective system. And yes, things could be walkable in some downtown city centers, but can most people afford that? What about your cooking skills? Did you learn how to cook when you were growing up? Or is your idea of cooking of taking something from the box and putting it on the pan and putting it in the oven? Now, with regards to some of these things, yes, an individual can make some tweaks and changes here, such as, taking some cooking classes to learn how to cook, using meal prep services like HelloFresh and that sort of thing. Not sponsored by them, by the way. It can also be things like trying to park further away from your destination and walking into it so you're getting more steps in, or if you're taking transit, getting off a stop early and then walking that rest of that way, which will also increase your activity levels. You could also type into Dr. Google and see what kind of things are out there in your community for community gardens or different ways that you can connect with people to help you and support you towards a healthier lifestyle. But there's ultimately a lot of other things that we need some intervention from a higher level, such as our government, in order to work on planning out our cities and how the layout looks, to what kind of processed foods are able to come to market and how companies are advertising and that sort of thing. And hey, are you curious about how many calories or how much protein you should be consuming on your weight management journey? I know you are, so you should definitely head to the link down below to my TDEE calculator, or Total Daily Energy Expenditure Calculator, and input all of your information, and on the last page it'll punch out how many calories and how much protein you need to consume for your journey of health. It's a quick and easy way to get started, so check it out. It's all down below. Hit the link and input your info. Now, governments are definitely looking at different strategies and ways that they can support the obesity epidemic. They're looking at policies and things that can kind of affect processed food companies, how they advertise, the foods that they're pumping out. They're also looking at better designs of their cities and trying to make things so that it's more walkable and more manageable so people can naturally get more activity in. They are also trying to increase the access to anti-obesity medications. These are all really great things, but we need to continue working and advocating towards them in order to get those things to happen and help us move that needle for the obesity epidemic. The next thing to tackle is our society's perceptions of individuals that are living in larger bodies. We need to continue advocating and educating to help reduce the stigma, bias, and discrimination that individuals that are struggling with obesity experience every single day. We need to help people understand that obesity isn't a personal failing. No one chooses to have obesity. It is much, much more than just eating less and moving more. And the shaming and blaming that we put towards other people, but also the shaming and blaming that we put back towards ourselves, only does the opposite of what we're looking to do. It ultimately worsens the problem and leads to overeating and engaging in the patterns and behaviors that are not going to be productive to help you manage your health and manage your weight. So there certainly is things that you can do on your part. Continue supporting, educating, and advocating on the behalf of yourself as well as other individuals in your community. Keep hanging out with channels like mine that provide good quality evidence and data backing things up, and continue to educate the public. And so if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. And finally, create the networks of people in your life that are going to help you and help others live their happiest and healthiest life possible. And so we don't know for sure if the rates of obesity are actually coming down. If anything, the rates may be stabilizing, but the rates of severe obesity unfortunately are increasing. And while the medications are likely playing a role in all of this, we still have a lot of different factors and things that we need to look at to really move that needle downwards and start managing and treating and, well, getting rid of this obesity epidemic. So that is it, and that is all, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, first thing you need to do is hit that subscribe button if you already haven't done so. The second thing you need to do is share it with somebody else that you think may enjoy it. As well, be sure to check out the links for all the things that I'm doing down below. You can sign up for my weekly newsletter. I've got some really big announcements coming in the near future. As well, you can check out all of my Amazon links where there's various products that I recommend, not only for your weight management journey, but also for managing the side effects that may come with the anti-obesity medications. Also, check me out on my other social media channels, and as I always like to sign off, please remember, it's those small tweaks that lead to the massive peaks.